Hello. Hi. What's up, everybody, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another live stream and welcome to another CG episode. We are going to be talking about purity today. So, I wanted to share a few things with my high school experience. Maybe, just my experience with purity. If you've had an upbringing here, you would probably understand that here, as in the family-fed community, you probably have an idea that comes to your head when I say purity. But that's something that High Noon has been challenging recently. The pre-High Noon era of purity, and then post-High Noon purity. So we call purity the purity before High Noon, purity 1.0, and then now we're living in High Noon. So there's definitely more to purity than just no. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So yeah, but I will say that there's a couple things that I need to kind of get off my chest here. Is I wish I promoted this more, and I mean, I have to say I'm gonna finish on my breakfast. Okay, so purity. So what comes into your mind when you think of purity? In my mind, one thing: no sex. No, actually, it's a lot of different things, but it's around the same idea. It's no, right? That I don't know, almost is instilled in my innermost being. When you think of purity, you just think of don't do the bad things. Don't do it. Stay away. But we're not really told about it either. Our parents stay away from it so much that it's not something we can talk about. We have a clear idea of what it's not. And so this is where the difference between purity 1.0 purity 2.0 is. Yeah, when I was in high school, when I was a pre-pubescent boy, age of 15, 16, I really wanted to change my image. In middle school, I was a little bit chunky. I was a little bit of a rounder face, maybe cheeks pudgy out a little. You know, it's not baby fat. But in middle school, I was definitely not the skinniest kid. But I wasn't, I didn't want to be the skinniest kid, but I didn't also want to be a fat kid. And unfortunately, I wasn't. Anyway, my mile in middle school was about 10 minutes during the fitness test. So in middle school, man, I don't know what the average was, but that's pretty slow for a young kid. So I wasn't the healthiest. But when it came to high school, I wanted to change myself. And so during my growth spurt, I went on a few diets and I exercised a lot. And I didn't actually, I wish I ate more, to be honest, during my growth spurt. Maybe I would be a little bit taller than the 5'6" man that I am now, the short king that I am now, 5'6". But that's. But anyway, that whole thing was around, like, that whole process was basically because I wanted people to like me. I wanted to be good looking. I wanted to be popular, and yeah, there's a lot that I did to do that. And so at the end of my years in middle school into my years in high school, I put a lot of effort into my image, trying to style myself cooler. I had some advice from my brothers. We went to Old Navy. And we tried on some different shirts, and he bought me my first cool fit that wasn't hand-me-downs or some childish t-shirts. It was actually a really fun experience, bonding experience that I had with my siblings. But when I got into high school, I'd always be checking myself out in the reflections of some window. There's always this one window around the corner that people would occasionally check themselves in. And I was one of those people. Just kind of glancing by, looking, it's like, okay, yeah. I'm not looking so bad. And so the purity aspect of high school was extremely difficult for me because I wanted people to like me. I wanted girls to like me. And I wanted to look good. I wanted to be popular. But that's not how it works. You see, when I was just that boy, I really wanted to date, but I was really scared. I was really scared of hurting my parents. My whole upbringing was just don't do this, don't do that. My mom would give me quizzes about the 4 fallen natures. By the way, if you know the 4 fallen natures off the top of your head, comment, and let's see who can get it first. But this entire experience for me happened to be, I wouldn't say transformative, but I reflect on it a lot now. Being married, having a beautiful wife, and just my behavior when I was a high schooler, it makes me reflect. I didn't date around, but what I did do was I tried to get girls to like me. And I'd be like seeking their attention. Attention from the girls, but also the cool kids, the cool boys. Hang out with them, try to get integrated into a group, and that's fine. I think groups, finding a group where you belong, where you fit in, where you feel like you can have friendships, it's really nice. Find that for yourself, whether if it's at church or at school, but make sure it's filled with good people. And what I mean by good people is people who want to become better, people who reflect on themselves and they reflect on their behavior. That's how you find good friends, to be honest. That was just music. It's pretty funky, huh? Oh, dang it. So I'm trying to stop just jumping right into the topic, but how is it? Actually, I still want to do my Wordle. I'm not going to forget about that. Ocean Lo-Fi. Okay. If you're hopping in the stream, just say hi. No one's gonna judge you. This is a judgment-free zone. Sharing comments might be embarrassing, but it's not. I just say that it helps me as the streamer as the person who's reading your comment. No. Okay, what was I saying? Here's so yeah. Anyway, I was feeling guilty. I was trying to get into all these like groups, and I wasn't feeling guilty. I was feeling afraid of two things. One, on one end, was for my parents. I felt really pressure to keep up the standard of purity that we learned in the Divine Principle. I don't know where we learned it or where our parents got it from, but in the fall, fear of the fall, fear of the second generation being fallen. And it's like, yeah, it's a lot of pressure. It's pretty scary, right? And I think the way that I was my upbringing was really centered around like, yeah, I love my mom, I love my parents, I love my dad, but like, but I love them. But when it came to things that like kind of exploring or doing different things, I was really scared of hurting them. And that's only one aspect, because I don't think it should be about fear. I think a lot of early faith, right? If you look at history, it's centered around fear of, right, upsetting God. And so that was my level of faith with even my parents too. And so even though I really wanted to ask or explore or tell people or date, I wanted to. I didn't let myself because I was really scared of my parents. And that's one way to do it, is to instill fear in children. That's one way. But I think that set my growth and some boundaries I couldn't easily cross with a connection to my parents and to my faith. So reflecting back on that now, I'd say there's nothing more valuable than actually having a goal or a vision for yourself. And that goes for high schoolers too. High schoolers who don't know quite what to do or where to go next oftentimes just living life haphazardly. And there's a lot of times where I feel like that haphazard or that fear or that actually not making much action is not necessarily stunting personal growth, but maybe delaying. Growth is always possible. But if you're watching the stream, let me know how I'm doing, okay? Please. If it's interesting. If it's not interesting, don't just skip away. Help me help you by helping me talk about something interesting. But this experience that I had in high school, where I was so afraid of disappointing my parents by interacting with girls or getting involved with popular groups at school who usually aren't up to so much good things, and the desire that I had to be wanted, to be part of a group. Oh, thank you for hopping in. Okay, but the idea around that disappointment made it very difficult to talk about any of these subjects with my parents. Yeah, who can relate, right? And it's like this disappointment is like, okay, even the curiosity or, the curiosity of, oh, thank you. See, this is why I need people like you. Can you say just to help me? How's that? Is that any better? Dude, I was talking with loud music the whole time. See, this is why I need you guys. Should I just do it without music? Yes, much better. Sweet. Thank you. Exactly. Thank you so much. Okay. By the way, for the entire every stream and video I've done, this microphone was backwards. And so it was not the greatest quality mic until I turned it around. I'm like, oh wow, it actually sounds pretty good. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. What should I do? Should I start over? Because it was too loud. That sucks. Now I see the value in doing like icebreakers and just talking with doing Wordle in the background. Okay, but let me just recap everything I've said so far. So in high school, I wanted to be a cool kid. I wanted to fit in. I did everything I could to make myself cooler. And I had different role models and different ways I'd emulate some kind of coolness, instill some coolness inside me. And I wanted to be liked. Who doesn't, right? No worries, man. Thank you for joining. But I wanted to be liked. So that whole perspective on having the fear of doing anything because I'm afraid of disappointing my parents, that affects you. It affects people in the long run. See, early childhood is important, but also developmental high schooler time, teen time, pubescent, just regular pubescent time is important. Developmental periods, okay? So when I look back, I think those were patterns that I found actually all through maybe my childhood, but especially in high school, where I would kind of like touch the line, be like, ooh, touch the line of what it's like to get special attention from girls. Not quite dating them, but trying to get them to like me. That line where I was kind of flirting with girls, but I wouldn't, and I would be messaging them, but I wouldn't commit. What kind of guy is that? He's a flaker. He's a nice guy. Oh man. Okay, hold on. Wait. Whoa, wait. So there's a Reddit thread. Nice guys. And these are probably the most cringe like experiences someone can. Okay. Anyway, the whole image of nice guys is basically that, where someone's like really nice to you and then they like feel like they deserve something. They deserve some kind of that attention. And so if I were to continue that path, I'd probably be a nice guy, who would be really nice to people, but like I'm nice to people because I'm trying to get some kind of I would be trying to get some kind of attention or validation from people, and feeling like I deserve it because I was nice to people. That would make such a good husband, right? Or a good father. I don't think so. Being nice to your kids and then like giving some kind of present to your kids, and then just imagine, right? Some guy giving a present to you, like, here, take this. And then now you owe me a favor. And then the guy says, now you owe me a favor because I gave you that present. And the present made you happy, right? You liked that present. Now you owe me because I made you happy, didn't I? And in the worst case, that can be sexual. And that is terrible. Okay. Something that, anyway, I'm going on a tangent here, but basically, when I'm talking about Purity 1.0, I'm talking about the fear, I'm talking about the no that's instilled in us, the fear that we're going to disappoint our parents, or the fear that we're we're going to cross some boundary and break our purity, and then we can't return to it. That if we do say yes to something we should have said no to, then the grace? No, we broke our purity. That's it. We're a fallen second chance. That's it. And then if that's the idea of purity, if that's what true parents really wanted us to experience, then how does okay, first of all, like that doesn't match how the God that we're trying to believe in, right? That we're trying to support, really. Yeah. No, kind of we can go into that. We can go into that later, like what kind of God do we believe in? But a little bit here, it's that we believe in a God whose love is unconditional, is unlimited, is boundless. When I picture this God, I think of a testimony I heard, and this is probably the most beautiful testimony. It was an experience from one of my older sisters who had a vision of God's heart. Imagine an ocean is vast, right? And God's heart is this ocean. When the vision came to them, they saw that there were people in this ocean. There were people who were close to God and the people who were further away. Some people were drowning. Some people were just floating and drifting across. Some people were really far away. But God's heart is the ocean. And you're in there, right? Some people are struggling, and God's heart really goes to them. You know, the Moana, I think about actually Moana right now, where the ocean helps Moana on her journey. Right? Really there with her. And I think that when you think of God's heart as the ocean, as boundless, right? There's nothing you can do to get out. Actually, I added the people drowning. I don't think that's actually accurate. I don't think that was part of the vision. But when I imagine people like really struggling, right? But you're still in God's love. Drowning because of God's love. Yeah, okay, that's kind of interesting. But see, that's why maybe I should kind of rethink that analogy. But anyway, essentially, people are swimming, people are treading water, and they're either really close to God, but there's some people who are really far away, but they're still in God's heart. Okay. And so when we think about purity, and if we break purity, are we still loved by God? Of course. But here's the catch. So purity 1.0 is not important. Okay? We do need boundaries. We do need a standard to live by. But inevitably, just having that will create an image of an egg that if we fail, we're broken and we're gone and we don't belong. So, what's Purity 2.0? Purity 2.0 includes the yeses, includes the people, the person, that you want to be. Okay, it adds things like having a vision for yourself. It adds, what does it add? Let's see. It adds so much more, okay? See, because Purity 1.0, you can do all the no's, or I guess you don't do all the no's, right? You follow all the no's. You don't kiss, you don't date, you don't hold hands with any girls prematurely, or just because, right? You don't hold hands. You don't watch porn. You don't masturbate. You don't have sex. You don't date. You don't do any of these things, okay? But just because you don't do these things, does that mean you're a good person? I hope you can agree with me when I say not necessarily, right? One of the examples we use in one of our lectures for High Noon is Gollum probably doesn't get any girls. Gollum from Lord of the Rings, my precious, right? He doesn't kiss girls, probably. His purity is probably intact, but he's a really what does he say? Ugly character. I mean, he is ugly, but inside too, he's really selfish. He's really just, he betrays the main characters, and then because he's so obsessed with this one thing. Maybe that can be some kind of analogy to addiction, but in terms of like just straightforward, that character not getting laid. It's not getting any girls. It's not right, and he can kiss you can not kiss all the girls in your life. Or if you're a girl, if you're a sister, you can keep your purity. You can not do all these things. But then what? Right? Because I hear a lot of second gen struggle with the blessing, because kind of that feeling, that shame, that guilt, and that inevitable image of having saying no to all these things for all your life, and then suddenly you're thrown into a marriage. You're like, okay, now you can do all these things. It's like, okay, the foundation that was there isn't quite what we're looking for. Okay, so Purity 2.0. Let me explain. Purity 2.0 does include all the no's. It is important because those things can create shame. They can create something that is a boundary to experience great love. But if you do these things, it's important to seek help and seek the casting away of the shadows that those create, and making something for yourself. So if you're familiar with the 4 great realms of heart and the 4 position foundation, right? First, we have the heart of a child, the children's realm of heart. Learning to receive love, learning to appreciate your parents as a child, growing your relationship with your parents, right? Filial piety is something we talk a lot about. Hyojung, right? That's Hyojung, and that culture is so much more than just saying no to dating and no to sex and no to porn and no to masturbation, right? It's really being appreciative of your parents and wanting to give back to your parents naturally, because your parents loved you so much. You want to love your parents. Beautiful. But that doesn't come around just yet, because as children, we can be pretty selfish. We're pretty needy as children, aren't we? So we learn how to give through our siblings, through a siblings realm of heart. And this is mostly High Noon's perspective, but I think it's my perspective also kind of trickling in there. So when we think about the siblings realm of heart, what do we learn? We learn that giving is really important. We learn that sharing is also important. We learn that our desire to want to be liked is not weird, it's normal. We want to be part of a group. We want to be caring and loving individuals. We learn how to be good friends. Okay? Then, as we go into the couple's realm of heart, right? See, Purity 2.0 includes being a couple. Purity 1.0 doesn't include anything about being a couple. That, upbringing, right? So, Purity 2.0 does include being a couple, because purity doesn't stop after you're blessed, right? It continues. So, right? Being a good spouse, using what you've learned as a child and as a sibling, what can you do for your spouse? To be extra loving, to be really considerate, to know what your needs are and learn how to communicate them well. Marriage is really about communication. I was going to say internal and external communication, but I was going to maybe direct and indirect communication, body language, knowing our partner's needs really well, and the process of knowing them better and better, day by day, and fulfilling them well, either throughout the day or intimately, or non-intimately, just through hugs and affection, right? So Purity 1.0 just kind of stays in this realm of prepubescent, don't do this, don't do that. Please don't, it's centered on the mistake of the fall, and that's it. But Purity 2.0 goes deeper into that. It's like, yeah, we acknowledge the fall. We acknowledge that it makes things harder. It sets you back. It does. It's a lot of pain that happens that you do have to heal from, but it doesn't block you from being pure, from loving better. Okay, so 2.0, purity 2.0 includes the do's, includes the heart you want to have when you love people, when you seek attention. What kind of heart do you have? Right? And it lasts much longer than just puberty, right? Because it goes into the marriage as well. Yeah, I don't know. Purity 1.0 wouldn't work in marriage. You wouldn't technically be pure anymore. Right, from that perspective of purity 1.0, purity 2.0, it's gotta continue, and it's a never-ending journey. The sexual integrity is precisely that. Continuing your journey forever. You can grow in your sexual integrity forever. Maybe early stages and even fallen stages. I don't like that. But right, first there's an aspect of healing. 100%. High Noon has made me very serious about my personal healing. But also striving up to be a really loving person and to have an amazing relationship with your spouse and with your family, with your community. Because sexual integrity is not just something that affects your sexuality. It affects everything. It's really the power of the sexual power that God gave us. Because it does, in fact, affect everything. It's a foundation. Right? You were created because of the sexual love between your parents. And whether they really loved each other or not, well, the result is very, very obvious. Between the upbringing of the children, between the relationship between husband and wife. And not like if they loved each other or not, they continue to try to love each other more and more every day. Purity 2.0 is about building your character, building your purity. So when you think about like purity of a child, I don't know, what do you think about that? Just the lack of experience? I think I would label that more as innocence, maybe. But children are very immature, very naive too, right? I mean, naive in the sense that they're learning, and they're in their process of growing and becoming who they are because of the love of their parents and the love of their siblings, or lack thereof. Don't be afraid to comment. Tell me, is my mic a little too loud, or is the music too loud, or is this hard to listen to? I wish I had some hot takes, but maybe I do, but I don't know. I'd like to think I don't, but maybe that just might be me being arrogant. And I don't want to be arrogant, so give me a perspective. I was talking about innocence, children. Oh yeah, children and innocence, but let me think for a moment. I think you can develop that innocence too, or you can retain it, or you can nurture it to come back. One thing I didn't mention yet, between the difference between purity 1.0 and 2.0, that, yeah. So I mentioned that purity 1.0 is like an egg that once you break it, it's gone. You're not pure anymore. and how it doesn't quite fit the narrative, especially around, what kind of blessings you want to create, and what, especially if you're young, right? And if you're not blessed yet, right? To think like, I have all these problems, I'm not ready for the blessing. Bro, the blessing is here to solve your problems. Really. Because of the vision of the blessing, not because you just get blessed and you solve your problems. That's not what I mean at all, okay? Definitely work on yourself before getting blessed. But what I mean is that once you break your egg in Purity 1.0 and it's over, and then it's just, I don't deserve the blessing. Absolutely, that is wrong. Absolutely not. What you need is Purity 2.0. Purity 2.0, the analogy we use is a garden. Okay, something that really is a garden. Imagine a garden that you have, and it's filled with weeds. This garden, can you restore it? Yeah, it's gonna take some work. Absolutely. But you can have people to help you. And I think people are actually essential to have in your garden too. To help pull the weeds out together with you. Okay, but you definitely have the final say, right, in that analogy. Whether this weed stays or it gets pulled, how much you treat the soil, how much you water it and fertilize it, and then what plants you add. Plants you add, lifestyles, and the beliefs you own are kind of like those plants. And then the good habits, right? Watering them, making sure they're doing good, right? Repotting them if necessary. It takes work. It takes work to retain a healthy garden. But if it becomes your lifestyle, it's natural and easy. And the result is a beautiful, lush garden. Think about that. And then your garden gets combined with another one, right? Your partners, your experience in the garden and gardening, together with your spouses, you can create something even more magnificent. But if you bring those bad habits in without trying to work on them, see, that's the difference. You can have a garden that's just starting to sprout. And you might think, I'm not ready. My garden isn't beautiful enough. It is not full enough to receive the blessing or to think about it. I don't care. Yeah. I'm kind of treading into pre-blessing territory here. Not treading into, I'm definitely fully wading inside. Wading like I'm in this lake in this little stream of, yeah, for sure, I'm definitely inside the water already. Here to talk about Purity 2.0 from the perspective of teenagers. I apologize. Oh, thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Okay, on Instagram. Honestly, I love how you explain Purity 2.0, the garden analogy. I guess what's like a fine line between building your character in love and forcing for a vision? Huh? Forcing a vision? Fine line between building your character. Fine line. Forcing for a vision or garden to grow. What do you mean by forcing? I don't want to assume anything here, but what do you mean by forcing a vision? Like feeling fake while doing it? Because that's absolutely valid. There's a lot of, okay, well, I'm gonna take my perspective on your question, And if it's wrong, just let me know it ASAP, and I'll keep an eye on the chat. So yeah, the fine line between actually building your character and forcing a vision, what I'm assuming to be like putting on a mask to like kind of cover up. So that actually just goes straight into the high noon virtues. Okay, so what I feel about that is finding a community and being honest. Okay, facing those shadows, facing the garden that might not be as pretty as you'd like it to be, and inviting people in. In this analogy, right? It's like, yeah, forcing. It's a good question. It's really making me think. If that is what you mean, forcing, like putting like a kind of faking it till you make it, but like kind of just feeling fake the whole time, let me know. Yeah, got it. Okay, this is great. Yeah, number one thing. Okay, so let's go through the 5 virtues. Okay, so there's honesty and grace. Now let's take a pause. So the difference between like actually making a garden and making it beautiful, and like building your character and building your love, over like faking it till you make it, just fake it and feeling fake the whole time. Faking it till you make it, but just faking it the whole time. And there's 2 key components, which is honesty and grace. Now it takes a lot of time, but honestly, we hope to be a community that can hear what you're going through, what your struggles are, what the weeds in your garden are, and hear you out. So the most healing and the actual change comes from facing the problems we have. I said this in a reel that I posted a little bit back, but like we solve our problems in a community. So we're just kind of like acting like we're solving our problems, so that we're like acting like we're doing really well, and in reality we're not. And we're not being honest, not with ourselves, or maybe we are, and it's just really hard to be honest with other people. That's the other point. It's to find like unconditional love and grace through being honest. It takes a lot of courage to get there, but when we can open up our heart to be honest and to find someone who can love us unconditionally, our beliefs change. Maybe it takes a long time, right? And I can tell you, being through like a accountability program as a participant who's fixing my integrity, right, through porn masturbation habits, or not, I don't want to label it as a habit, it's an addiction, right? Trying to stop, I couldn't stop, boom, now I'm in high noon. So the idea behind that is, right, it's really hard to share a slip up or a mistake or a setback, right, in whatever regard that you're thinking of. But at least in my case and what I relate to, and hopefully what high noon relates to, is sexual integrity. So when I made a slip up, when I watched porn again, and I feel so crappy. Now, I can go into that group call and be like, yeah, things were great this week. I practiced my habits. And then in the back of my head, like, I slipped up again. I'm really tired. I feel like a failure, you know, while keeping this smile. It's not a real smile. It's not a genuine smile. Right? But I found, and I had to repeat this lesson a lot, I found that when I shared, honestly, I had a slip up this week, or I didn't practice my goals. And then they listened to me. The people in the group were really wanted to be there for me. They listened, and they're like, yeah, I relate. Actually, in some cases, me too. I also felt that way. This was also a hard week for me. I had my fluctuations for sure, okay? there were some quarters where I felt like, yeah, I could spill everything and I could feel loved. Then there were quarters where I felt like I had to be like the model, or like I would kind of blur the line. Like I didn't quite slip up, but I looked at like some like explicit material, but I didn't masturbate to it, or I didn't like kind of stay on it for too long. But I kind of looked maybe, but I didn't stay on it for too. I won't share about it. And like right there, that's where like the shadows can creep in. Okay, so really, honesty, grace. That's the fine line. Not just honest with yourself, because honestly speaking, it's really hard to be dishonest with yourself in this regard, like with shame. But honest, I don't know, like beating yourself up is kind of different from being honest with yourself, to be honest. To be honest. Anyway. Purity is purity. Once it's gone, it's gone. Now I want to challenge that idea, because that's not what I believe we should be educating. Why? Because if purity is gone, what does that make of that person? Will that person feel God's unconditional love if their purity is gone? So let's redefine purity. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if purity is gone, then what does that make of the person? It doesn't, right? What does it make of the person who we're trying to save? It makes them unsavable if that belief is true. That if purity is purity, and then purity is an egg, and it's gone, it's broken, it's gone. Does that make them unworthy for the blessing? It sure feels like it. Yeah. So I want to challenge that idea. Because I think what you're getting confused, not confused, but what I want to challenge and what I want to introduce as an idea is that purity 1.0, that idea of like innocence, of don't do that, don't do this, right? Don't date, don't have sex, don't watch porn, don't masturbate, don't, right? And the thing about like those don'ts is a lot of them aren't even talked about. They're just implied. It's not clear education. We don't, in our community, we don't teach our kids what porn is and what to be careful of on the internet, right? For fear that, they might engage in it. But I have some friends who are secular, outside of the church, right? And their parents talk to them about porn. And they have really strong values. He's the reason why he's my really good friend. But, right, they said, hey, this is what you can find on the internet. It's called porn. It's people having sex on camera. And it is weird, okay, to do that, because it's supposed to be an intimate act between you and your spouse. It's weird. So if you see something like that, just, there's no shame, okay? Just, it's weird. Just, and if you have any questions about sex or girls or dating or whatever, just talk to me about it, the parents. That's what the parents said. Imagine that. Imagine where you can openly talk about that. And then the truth about porn is revealed. It's a weird. Like, why are you trying to get affection through other couples, or not even couples, other actors having sex on camera? Right. You're connecting with nothing. So it's weird, right? And that was the conversation they had. And to this day, he's just not interested in porn. And it's weird, right? It's just like that's it. There's no hook there. No shame. Yeah. So thank you for the comment. But I disagree. I don't think purity is something you break and it's gone, it's gone. Absolutely not. Purity, like a garden, is a garden. If you imagine purity as a garden, and it's something we can build up, there's redemption, there's grace, and there's love. There's salvation. If purity is purity and it's gone, and it's gone. If purity is purity 1.0, if it's an egg and it's broken, it's gone. There would be never restoration would not be possible. So, thank you. Yeah, I really like that question about drawing the fine line between characters. Because that is like a dangerous, it's a pothole in this. Like, yeah, because of the upbringing many of us had. It's so easy to be like shameful or I don't want to share, but I want to look like I'm growing. But it really takes a lot of courage to experience grace, to let yourself experience grace, and to be honest with other people. These are the problems I have. All right, let me fix the weeds for you, with you, together. Let's do it. Here, I'll bring my friends. Let's make a community out of this. Let's build a beautiful garden out of you. Yeah, absolutely. And there's no reason to be alone at any point after that. It's a community. We take care of each other's gardens. And we accept an ugly garden as a challenge. Let's save this person. Let's love this person so much that they can be saved. Okay. Then that mask naturally comes off. The people who can see through us really do. Or the people who, naturally can get us to open up. They exist as well. We live in a world that's so lonely and isolated now. And maybe it's harder to practice because we're so isolated. I remember going down, taking a walk down the street to hang out with my friends. And I lived in a really great neighborhood. It's like a 10-minute walk. I would walk by myself as a kid, right? As an elementary school kid, I would walk by myself or take my bike to my friend's house that was a couple blocks away. And then their whole block is just kids' paradise. So just kids running around the street playing tag, down the whole street. It was wonderful. It's kind of the environment I want to make, for my future kids. And the environment that I hope many people can experience, even today, right? Yeah, it's kind of a lot to say about that, but good. Okay, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a break here, so I'm gonna do some Wordle. All right, guys, if you're in the Discord or if you're not in the Discord, please join the Discord. We have Wordle. And anyway, I think I'm going to reshape the Discord a little bit. Oh, actually, this is perfect for some updates, okay? Let me I love this logo, but it's gotta go for now. Okay. Default camera. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so one of the so I'm going to be launching a different program, which is going to be called Online Workshops. So we're going to be holding online workshops for both teens separately and parents separately. Okay, so sorry, I'm probably really close to the mic and it's loud, but okay. So there's going to be an online workshop for teens, and then there's going to be a separate online workshop for parents who are parents of teens. Okay, so that's just something I want to get started, and I think that's going to be like the main experience that High Noon High School is going to offer, because it's not going to be just a once in a month workshop, but it's going to be followed up by 21 days of connection. Okay, 21 days of having a facilitator, having a mentor, having group calls, kind of typical of a High Noon experience. Okay, so if you can look on the High Noon website, let's actually take a gander at that real quick. So you're gonna see what video I'm playing. Okay, and we're gonna go to the High Noon website. So on the High Noon website, we're going to see there's gonna be programs here at the top, and then you're gonna see high school. Okay, and I made this so pretty for you guys. Check it out. Okay, so this is my favorite part of the website. I might be a little biased, 100% biased, because okay. So we're gonna have a monthly website, so a monthly workshop, excuse me, and then we're gonna see you got the October online workshop, and we have the teens. Okay, so strengthen your confidence, handle stress better, and build your sexual integrity. Okay, and look at those sakura petals floating in the wind. Yes, and then the registration link is right there. You have to register to get the link. Okay, it's not going to be on YouTube, so it's not going to be open to watch for anybody, but it's going to be free. 100% it's going to be free. Okay, no expense. All right. Then for parents, discover how you can support your and understand your team. There's going to be more description here and more information here, but check it out. Keep updated, okay? And here's the beautiful, sparkling registration link here for parents. Okay, so there are two separate registration link. Okay, there's a registration link there and a registration link there for parents. There's a little divider line. I hope that makes sense. I hope it's intuitive. Okay, and then there's me, and then the rest of the High Noon page. But that's my that's a clip of me telling a story in high school, and then a newsletter. Okay, beautiful. So I just want to put that out there that that's going to be something I wanted to do for you guys, for the teens, to build their confidence, handle stress better, and build your sexual integrity. And it's going to be for the teens. It's going to be followed up with a 21-day connection period, where we're going to support you. We're going to be there with you, and there's going to be group calls, and there's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, and this is going to happen monthly. Okay, but I will add more information here. Right now, it's just like, this is the idea that I had a few days ago, and I'm like, I have to go all in. This is what it's going to be. And so we'll utilize Discord for the 21 days. But Discord is probably going to change because I was, or maybe not, I don't know. And we'll see. All right, back to Wordle. All right, here we go. Wordle time. I have like a regular hours. That was a flop. That was okay, whatever. Little, get that double consonant. No, little is a 6-letter word. I swear, I think it's just because I'm a stream. I mean, on stream, I kind of, I just look stupider than I realize. Or maybe this is how I'm always thinking. Okay. We're There's lots of possibilities here. Does Blake work? I just had break, but R. I already used R. I don't wanna. Bystand is a 6-letter word. Any suggestions? Oh my god, I'm actually so dumb, dude. I can't do this. The pressure. Oops, I'm not selecting that. Paved. Another flop, but we got an E. Oh man. I'm actually flopping. Holy crap. Holy crap. Holy crap. I'm flopping. Oh no. Dude. Why can't I think of anything? The remaining letters. I don't like that. It's got N. It's pretty embarrassing for me. Yeah, I don't know why I want to do enter so badly. This just goes to show, like bananagrams, I suck at it. I think it's just my dyslexia or something. Because that's what I want to blame it on, not me being stupid. That's more personal. But dyslexia is not my fault. Funny story. One funny thing. This is the #1 trick I use because I'm left-handed, but I get my left and right mixed up sometimes because I'm slow. That's being honest. Now give me the grace, please. Don't attack me. Likes, L-I-K. Okay, A-R. Dude, what? I can't think. What is going on? I'm like, okay, I don't think it's like dyslexia or anything. What I really think it is just my brain is stuck on like one idea, and I'm like, if I just had this, like that was my thinking. If I just had this letter, now I would try it. And it's kind of thinking inside the box right now. Yeah. Thick. I'll take it. Oh, okay. I I thought that was a word, but guys let me know. Okay, this is it. We did it. Jeez, that was so stressful. Okay. All right. Dang, I did my Wordle. I talked. I hope I can get some feedback from you guys. Let me. Oh, I totally forgot what I actually wanted to do. Number 2 did Wordle. Okay. Yes. There you go. Okay, so that link is available for anyone who wants to join. Oh, Instagram blocks. Michael Victor, hey, thank you. Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't block it. I just sent it 3 times. Oops. Okay. Dude, this is an actual vibe. Look at that. The music too. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Purity is Purity wants to go. No, I already addressed that. I disagree. You're entitled to your opinion, but I and High Noon disagree because of the reason I said earlier. Any other comments? Yumi Higuchi, thank you so much for interacting. That laughing emoji was so I love it. I pinned it, and then I'll unpin it. That's just on Instagram Live. I don't know if you can see that on YouTube on the recording. Okay. Oh, well, hey, 2 viewers. I hope you guys are having a good time. I have about 15 minutes. If there's something I want to talk about regarding Purity 1.0, 2.0, please let me know. I love this guy. Bin Feng. People are busy on Wednesday nights? Well, they gotta make time for this. One way I'm adding to my Purity garden is I'm going to the gym later. We finally signed up. So since moving to Japan, I finally signed up for the gym. And I used to be going to the gym regularly, and now I haven't been in a while. I was going to a very special gym. It's called a rock gym, where you climb fake rocks, and then you fall on foams, and then they have a small gym area where you can practice your grip strength. But it's just this gym is just a regular gym. That was a gym I used to go to, the rock gym. I love that gym. I miss it. There is rock climbing in Japan. Yeah. I don't think that I could. It's been a while. But I have my rock climbing gear. Okay, it's just shoes, chalk, and the new gym probably doesn't let me use chalk. Thinking about it, it's too clean. It's Japanese. It's a clean gym, small and clean, just like all Japanese people. I made my wife laugh. Okay. Purity 1.0, 2.0. So I'll just sum it up. I'm gonna make a YouTube out of this. So let me expand my screen. All right. I'm just gonna make a YouTube video out of this. So if you want to say hi, say hi. If not, like if you make a comment now, just say hey. You'll see it on the screen. Whoa! Maybe you don't want that. So I'm just gonna refilm this do a recap of what we talked about today. Hey everybody! So we are talking about Purity 1.0 and 2.0. The difference between Purity 1.0 is that we start with the idea and concept of no, no, no. Purity 1.0 is similar to the idea of an egg where if it's broken, it can't come back. Now I want to challenge that idea with Purity 2.0. See, Purity 2.0 is going to be the idea of having a garden where you can build up, and if something falters or if you're really shameful about something, it degrades. And the lifestyles, they degrade, but it doesn't keep you from experiencing full grace. It doesn't keep you from regaining the traction and building your garden again. Inviting people into the garden and having a feel-good experience with a community to help you with your garden and to experience grace and building integrity through accountability. And it all takes courage. All right, that's probably gonna be the short. I don't know. I hope that wasn't off-putting. Maybe a little bit too energetic. But yeah, maybe most people just don't have the time to tune in for an hour and a half live stream so regularly. I gotta work my way around that. Make people make time for me. I'm learning that marketing is so important. If I don't put myself out there, no one's gonna know about me. Even if I have a great product. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and good for me and good for you. But yeah, tell your friends, people, help me tell people about it, and we can be bigger and bigger. Bigger and better. Bigger and better. I'm probably gonna refilm that just in my own time. Yeah. About the Purity 1.0 versus 2.0, but we'll talk about it. And then I'll actually here's what I'll do. Oops. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing right now. Just okay, well, thank you everyone for joining me. I'm kind of making this outro a little bit long, but I'm just kind of doing some things, making some things happen. So check out any new content and keep an eye out for a new Instagram channel. Peace.